Hi everyone, welcome back to Story Time with Grandma. It's so good to see everybody. I'm so glad that you're back for another week. As you can see, it's another blustery day at the beach. I hope you're in your special place. I hope you're ready to read. We've got an eagle about to fly over. I hope he gets in the lens at some point. Anyway, I'm at the beach and I had a chance to walk on the beach today and I grabbed some special shells. Actually, they're just some shells that we find on our beach here in the Seattle area. And it reminded me that I was able to send Mary and Nina a mermaid box this week. They got mermaid mail, included some shells from the beach and some other goodies. So I wanted to share some of the shells with you. And while we're talking about Mary and Nina, I wanted to say hi to both of them. They're here every week and I love that. And I see Abby, she watches too. She loves to snuggle with her mama and her baby Maya and watch Storytime with Grandma. And Henry's a big fan and we love him being here. And Piper, of course, Piper from Kansas, good to see you. And Liv and Ivy, good to see you. And RJ and Bailey and Tracy and Alyssa. And I see Reva and Royce and Barrett. And I see Lindsay and Peyton and Avery and McKinley and Natalie and Chelsea and Riley, good to see you. And Brooklyn and Jesse and William and Natalie and Lincoln and Logan. Logan's my buddy. Jules and Graham and Oliver, nice to see you. And Sila, of course, and Noah and Tanner, good to see you. And Cam and Jason and Brayden and Bennett and Kyler and Caden are here. And I see Ella and Nick. And we have new friends this week, Bill and Grant and Melissa. All wrote in and wanted to hear their names. So hi to Bill, Grant, and Melissa. And Sydney, good to see you. And Nick and Nevaeh, I see you. Good to see you, Nevaeh. Okay, so, and Ella, if I haven't said hello to you, I see you back there waving. Good to see you. This week's book, I don't know if some of you remember or not, but our very first week that we read a book about a giraffe. I think it was called Giraffes Can't Dance. And this week, we're reading another book about a giraffe. It's called A Giraffe and a Half. And I think you're going to love it. It's actually one of my very favorites. It's written and the pictures are drawn by Shel Silverstein. And she's the author and the illustrator. We've learned about that. Author and illustrator. The illustrator is the one that draws the pictures, and the author is the one that writes the book. Another thing that's special about this book, it's got a beautiful colored cover, but inside the pictures are all black and white. We've not read one like that before, so that will be interesting. But this book, super fun. And so get all comfy. And it's like the sun's getting ready to go down here, so we'll buzz through this quickly and let you get to bed. Again, Grandma is so happy that you're here, and we'll jump right in. A giraffe and a half. If you had a giraffe, and he stretched another half, you would have a giraffe and a half. If you put on a hat and inside lived a rat, you would have a giraffe and a half with a rat in his hat. Grandma would not wear that hat. If you dressed him in a suit and he looked very cute, you would have a giraffe and a half with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit. He does look very cute, doesn't he? If you glued a rose to the tip of his nose, you would have a giraffe and a half with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit, with a rose on his nose. If a bumbly old bee stung him right on the knee, you would have a giraffe and a half with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit, with a rose on his nose and a bee on his knee. If you put on a shoe and then stepped in some glue, you would have a giraffe and a half with a rat in his hat. What else would you have? looking cute in a suit with a rose on his nose and a bee on his knee and some glue on his shoe. If you gave him a flute and he played tootie-toot, you would have a giraffe in a hat with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit with a rose on his nose and a bee on his knee and some glue on his shoe, playing toot on a flute. And there's more. If he used a chair to comb his hair, you would have a giraffe in a hat with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit with a rose on his nose and a bee on his knee and some glue on his shoe, playing toot on a flute with a chair in his hair. If he tripped on a snake who was eating some cake, you would have a giraffe in a hat with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit with a rose on his nose and a bee on his knee and some glue on his shoe, playing toot on a flute with a chair in his hair and a snake eating cake. You'd have all of that. If he found an old trunk and inside was a skunk, you would have a giraffe in a hat with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit with a rose on his nose and a bee on his knee and some glue on his shoe, playing toot on a flute with a chair in his hair and a snake eating cake and a skunk in a trunk. If he met a fat dragon who sat in a wagon, you would have a giraffe in a hat with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit with a rose on his nose and a bee on his knee and some glue on his shoe, playing toot on a flute with a chair in his hair and a snake eating cake and a skunk in a trunk and a dragon in a wagon. If he jumped on a bike and rode over a spike, can you guess what you'd have? You'd have a dragon in a hat with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit with a rose on his nose and a bee on his knee and some glue on his shoe, playing toot on a flute with a chair in his hair and a snake eating cake and a skunk in the trunk and a dragon in a wagon and a spike in his bike. If a blubbery whale got a hold of his tail, you would have a dragon you would not have a dragon in a hat. You'd have a giraffe in a hat with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit with a rose on his nose and a bee on his knee and some glue on his shoe, playing toot on a flute with a chair in his hair and a snake eating cake and a skunk in the trunk and a dragon in a wagon and a spike in his bike and a whale on his tail. My goodness, look at all of that. If he fell in a hole that was dug by a mole, you would have a giraffe in a hat with a rat in his hat, looking cute in a suit and a rose on his nose and a bee on his knee and some glue on his shoe, playing toot on a flute and a snake eating cake and a skunk in a trunk and a dragon in a wagon and a spike in his bike and a whale on his tail in a hole with a mole. Everything's in the hole. But if you brought him a pole to climb out of the hole and the whale left his tail and went off for the mail, and he gave the spiked bike to a scout on a hike, and he left the fat dragon because his wagon was a sagging, and he gave his chair to a tired old bear, and he traded the flute to a bird for some fruit. And he told that old snake to go jump in the lake, and a man who bought junk bought the trunk with the skunk. And he gave the rose to a girl he chose, while the bee on his knee flew away with a flea. And he put the shoe with the glue on you, and that silly old rat ran away with the hat. And he put his suit in the laundry chute, and he shrank another half. He would have a giraffe. The end. Isn't that so much fun? I love that story, and I hope you loved it. And I hope that you subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, tell me what has been your favorite book so far. And I have 3 books. I had 3 suggestions for books this week. One came from Pennsylvania, actually 2 from Pennsylvania, and 1 from someone here in Covington, Washington. So we're going to work those in over the next couple weeks, and I'm super excited to read them, but I would love your suggestions. I'd like to know, what's your favorite book? What book would you like Grandma to read? And what has been your favorite book so far? And until next week, I want you to be super awesome to those that are taking care of you. I know that this is a difficult time. I know some of you are out of school, or actually probably all of you are out of school, and you're doing school online, or you're doing it at home, and it's hard, and it's different, and it's never been done before, but keep doing your best. Things will get better, and all you can do is your very best, but you can be nice and kind to those around you. We're all kind of having not a difficulty, but trying to figure things out. Things are different right now, so do your best, be kind to others, be kind to those that take care of you, pretty please, and join me next week, okay? Be back here, because I love spending this time with you. So be good, and sweet dreams, and I love all of you. Mwah. Good night, everybody.